Alright, welcome to this channel. This channel will be pretty much dedicated to horror movies, Halloween Horror Nights, and Dead by Daylight. I'll pretty much be covering everything in each of those categories or sections, and today I'll be talking about Dead by Daylight's unoriginal horror icons from movies that could be coming to Dead by Daylight in the future, especially just one today. And we have two matches in this video and two conversations I'll have. The first one being possible horror icons coming to Dead by Daylight. Of course, one of them you're very aware of is Michael Myers, which came with Haddonfield, the map, and Laurie Strode as one of the survivors. And it did really well in Dead by Daylight. Already, Dead by Daylight was already doing its thing, it was doing great, and just an added bonus in the Halloween season of last year, for the PC players, it came and was pretty good. And of course, it leads me to talk about, um, what could be, or might be, in this game soon. And just real quick, because it's going to annoy me if I don't talk about it real quick, is this nurse, I don't know if it was, it's a new nurse killer player, or a new nurse player that's just trying to learn nurse or something, or maybe it's just their first match of the day, I don't know. But this nurse didn't play too well. It was more towards the poor side of performance. Anyway, coming back to the conversation, I think that, of course, already the original killers for this game, or from this game, that were made up had heavy influence from horror movies, of course. Why wouldn't they? But especially Jason, the Collector from the Collection or Collector movie franchise, Texas Chainsaw, Leatherface, and a lot of things. For example, Jason and the Collector, I think, are definitely influences for the Trapper. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you know what the Collector is, at least I know you at least know what Jason is. But you know, from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, of course, is a heavy influence for Hillbilly and stuff like that. So things that I think that are off the bat will not be coming to Dead by Daylight anytime soon would be Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw, um, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Chucky from Child's Play or the Chucky franchise, and here's why. Because two of those, of course, Jason and Leatherface already have influences already in characters. Chucky would be a height problem because the killers are either, decent height or they're semi-short, like with the Hag. And of course, Chucky's a doll, so there'd be a huge problem with that, and it wouldn't really be that great, I don't think, and it would be wonky. But I think a horror icon from a very well-known movie franchise would be The Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think Freddy Krueger would be an amazing killer. It brings good map ideas, good items ideas, and of course a good survivor. And of course that'd be Nancy from the first one, The Nightmare on Elm Street, and the third one, Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors, where she does an excellent job as an actress, but I won't get into that. Anyway, just like Laurie Strode, she'll be a survivor for Nancy. Freddy Krueger will obviously have his primary default, and this is all speculation, like this is what I would say would be the best idea for if they did Freddy Krueger, and I think this is a good possibility, but I think they have their hands tied at the moment because they're trying to get Michael Myers out this August for PS4, and they're working on Huntress and the patches for a lot of things, and the new survivor, I think, something King, David King, I can't remember his name. But I think it could be in the future. I really do, because Freddy could have the glove as his, weapon. I think it is on his right hand, if I can remember correctly from the movies. It might be the left, but I don't know. Anyway, I think he can have a almost doctor type thing going for more. Instead of like shock therapy, every time he hits you, you get tired and you want to go to sleep, which can tie into the movies and references and stuff like that. And with that, I think you get more tired, and the more tired you get, the less fast your survivor can run, and it gets pretty, hectic, and like you need to somehow counter this. How do you counter it? My guess would be that, or my suggestion for that would be use cabinets. So the survivor will go in a cabinet, and they'll have almost like a snap out of it moment, but instead of like doing it anywhere and you had to have a certain amount of like shock therapy to have it just, you know, X amount of times. I'm not sure, like X amount of times of getting hit by Freddy's glove. You get tired and your survivor wants to sleep. You go into a closet and you have a generator-like bar going, and there's skill checks, just like you were a generator, a totem, you know, a chest, you know, to open. But you have X amount of skill checks as well, and if you mess it up, you don't get rid of your tiredness, and the killer is aware of your um, presence or where you are in the map. So, but if you succeed, you know, you get rid of the tiredness and you go on your jolly way, you know, whatever. But I think this will give relevance back to cabinets and totems, because X amount of totems will cancel out Freddy's, you know, tiredness and his ability to make you slow and, you know, all that stuff. So moving on to Freddy's unique ability, just like the Nurse's Blink or the Trapper's Traps or the Hag's Trap, like Mud Trap thingamajiggers, and Michael Myers' like one-hit wonders, and and the Hillbilly's Chainsaw would be one of his cool things. I think is from the first Nightmare on Elm Street in the 80s. I can't remember what year, but where he is not yet powerful enough, but his ability to do stuff in his dream world, where he stretches out his hand and almost kills someone and grabs them, I think would be a really interesting ability. I think it would have to be, you know, almost like a Michael Myers thing too, where you have to build up to where you can get that ability, you know, after, you know, not stalking them, but maybe just like messing with them in a way, or something like that, something along those lines, and you can do a cool, like, instead of a lunge, like he has a cool hand reach, you know, type thing. I don't know like, I couldn't really give you like what would be best for that, but I think it's a good idea because it comes from the movies, it'll give a reference. And one other thing that I think Freddy Krueger will bring to the game will make it different is most of these killers in Dead by, or all of these killers in Dead by Daylight only make noises, you know, when they hit someone or if they miss or they get stunned, you know, they don't really talk, they don't talk to you. But Freddy, on the other hand, Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street, in the originals at least, you know, he talks a lot of shit. He's a shit talker, where he, you know, he's making fun of you, he's, you know, messing with you. He, you know, he talks a lot, and he like makes some funny jokes at you, and he, you know, stuff like that. So I think that'd be kind of interesting to see in a killer in Dead by Daylight. It would make it kind of more entertaining, or I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. I'm not saying Freddy Krueger has to talk all the time, because I think that would kind of ruin the mood of the game in general and stuff like that. But I think like every once in a while, like he can say one of his phrases, like his famous, like more known phrases from his movies, kind of give a throwback to them and stuff like that. Moving on to the map, I think a great map would be the Elm Street, but as soon as I thought about that, I thought, well, we already have that with Michael Myers with the Haddonfield map, so I think that's a pretty cheap map to make. So I think they wouldn't go for that. I think they would go for the Boiler Room from Freddy Krueger's, really awful, like before he became Freddy Krueger, like the monster demon dude. He was killed in the Boiler Room, and before that he would torture kids and all this awful stuff. And even now, when he haunts people in their dreams, he usually brings them to the Boiler Room, but not all the time, but he does bring them to the Boiler Room, and I think that'd be a great map to have fun with, and we give the developers a lot of room to be creative and, you know, do some cool stuff with that. Moving on with the items, I think a good, like, just an item in general for the survivors to have, it would be like I would say about an uncommon item. And it's a reference to the movies where in basically almost every, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, they have this drug that keeps you awake and stuff like that. And I think another kind of funny item would be like coffee, because, you know, you see them drink coffee, you see them do everything they can to stay awake and alive and stuff like that. I think that'd be amazing. And for the killer, I'm not very sure, but they would have to be creative and look into the movies, start digging. And I think that would give, you know, the developers a fun project, and I think it would come out very well. I'm not sure what else I can really say about that idea, but I think it's a genuine, good concept. Anyway, moving on to my next, it's not scenario, but topic to talk about would be the Huntress, which seems that everyone is talking about pretty much. And I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I don't have a PC that I can play Dead by Daylight. If you couldn't tell already, I'm playing on PlayStation, the PlayStation 4. And right here, the nurse quit. Like, come on, dude. Like, I don't like that because look what it does. Like, it doesn't punish you for the host disconnecting, right? But it doesn't help you. Like, I feel like if that happens to you, you should just get a pip up because that's fair. Like, it wasn't your fault they disconnected, but then again, they don't rank you down or anything. But it's just my opinion. But anyway, um, let's see. Uh, right, the Huntress. Uh, hasn't come to PS4 yet, of course. Michael Myers comes to PS4 this month. And it's gonna be great. And I'll probably make a video on that as well. Um, but the Huntress, right? So pretty much what I've got from watching a bunch of YouTube videos and different perspectives of people and opinions, um, it's basically like two sides and you're on either or. It's either you're on the killer side where you think the killer's just right, it gives the power back to the killer, it's amazing and it makes Dead by Daylight great again, essentially. Or you have the survivors where you think, okay, it's broken, it's, unfair, like put it up against any other killer and it's like the most unfair thing possibly you can ever do. And it's too much challenge and you have the killer saying, well, anytime a survivor has a challenge in front of them, they can't, you know, get it the first time, this is what happens, this and that. So I want to say I'm about in the middle. I think the killer is a great idea. In fact, when I first saw the teaser trailer on Twitter, I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh shit, like terrifying hatchets coming at you and all this stuff. Like, I think that's crazy. So I think it's a good character, but it also reminds me of the nurse before she got nerfed, where she had a good movement speed, or at least a decent one, like with um, Trapper, Hillbilly, and I think Hag, but they nerfed it and had nurse slower, which I thought was great, and it really did balance nurse out. So you had to actually be at least halfway decent at blinking to hit someone or down someone instead of, oh, I missed, but I'm still right here, I can still hit you, that type of stuff, because you can move fast and stuff like that. So I think there's two potential uh, situations or patches or nerfs that they can help balance this character out, because I think there should be minor tweaking. Like, I think the amount of axes is good, and I like the thought of you run out at some point and you need to go back into a cabinet and get some, and I think that's awesome. I think that brings more relevance back to cabinets and stuff like that. But I don't think that hatchets are 100% fair. I think they're a good concept, and I think hatchets should stay with the Huntress. Not like they would take it out anyway, but you wind back, which I like because it's not an immediate throw. I like that. But once you throw it, you hit them, right? Let's say you hit them going around a corner. So you hit them, they're going around the corner, and you just get them in time and you start winding up your hatchet again, and they're going through a window, and you hit them immediately because they have to be in that window, and the hitbox is gonna hit. There's no way out of it. It's gonna hit. Like, it's like it's too easy, like, to get them, is what I'm saying. Which you might say, oh, but like that's the challenge of the Huntress. But no, that's like when you leap through a window or whatever, it's supposed to help you, not immediately put you in this death trap that is a hitbox from a hatchet. You know what I mean? So it's not that I don't think you should be able to hit them in the window. It's the fact that you can get two easy hits very easily. One by probably luck, and the next one, by a one hitbox that can't be avoided. You know what I mean? So here's what I think they should do. I think the second option is definitely to, just like her axe for melee, if you hit someone or you miss or you hit a wall or something, you have a delay of looking at your weapon or, being a little stunned for a couple seconds. I think that should be as well for the hatchet. Not only is there a wind up, but there's also a delay after for like 2-3 seconds. That's all I'm asking. So Survivor can actually think about a strategy to get somewhere, hide, do something to, get out of the Huntress's, sight. you know, so there's a chance that they can possibly get away. And also with the pelts, you have to drop pelts early now to get away from the Huntress, because if you drop a pelt right for the Huntress, guess what they're doing? They're not going to break that pelt. They're going to wind back and throw a hatchet at you, which is really hard to avoid if you just dropped a pallet. Like, you're literally in the middle, right there in front of them. It's an easy target. You can say that means survivors have no skill or something, but that's just stupid. Like, there's no way, is what I'm saying. Like, you really have to be good at Survivor to even get away with one hit and still be alive. That's what I'm saying. But besides that, I think she's also too fast. Like, she can do a hatchet. Okay, let's give you a scenario, because I've seen this. But this is the basic scenario. The Survivor is running, and they're not running a straight line, stupidly. That's good. And they're looking back at the killer. So the killer's winding up, still kind of moving forward a little bit by little. And they're throwing the hatchet. Let's say it misses, and the survivor successfully has dodged a hatchet. So by doing that, they ran to the side and a little back and a little forward. And that gives time for the killer to straight up just go at you and hit you with the melee or another hatchet if they get close enough, or if they have good accuracy, whatever. So why should the Huntress be awarded a down or a hit if they miss the hatchet or they missed the hatchet first, but still yet got to hit them? That's not, it's not skill. It's you missed a hatchet, so you fucked up, but yet you still get a hit off them, which is unfair. Like, that's stupid. That's like backwards thinking. That's like, let's see. That's like getting a F on your test and like getting a piece of candy for it. Like, that's like the whole, everyone gets a medal at the end. Like, no, there's a loser, there's a winner. Someone gets a trophy, someone doesn't. That's how it works. But that's, kind of like babying the killers, and it's stupid. But that's my opinion. I mean, you can think what you want, but I think that's a little broken. It needs to be fixed. Besides that, like, the Huntress is such a great idea, and I don't like to bash on great ideas, but when something's broken, man, it's broken, and some of the YouTubers I've watched have admitted that, it's a little broken. Like, it's a little, like, unfair. But some people have a different perspective where they're just like, no, this is great, because, after so much time of the survivors getting used to certain scenarios and, like, teabagging, like, tempting the killer and stuff like that, they don't like that. They like the fear of, survivors, and they think that's how it should be played. But I think that's the beauty of Dead by Daylight, is that you can do anything you want. Like, you have you have the chance to do what you want in these scenarios, and if you want to mess with the killer, you should be able to. You shouldn't, you can do what you want, and if you're an idiot and you get caught, that's what happens. Or if you play objectively, or you're the person that saves people, that's awesome. I don't know, I just think, it shouldn't give too much power to the killer, which, obviously the killer should have something over the survivor. So what I like about this game is, over time, it has become a killer is always going to be stronger than the survivor, which is good. That's good right there. So you have the killer that's always going to have an advantage over you, which is good. That's what this game should be. But the survivors can always adapt and learn from mistakes and get better. So that's that. But then the Huntress kind of goes, okay, I'm strong and I always have an advantage over you. But not only that, I have hatchets that don't have cooldown, so I'm already, like, I have more advantages over you. So, like, it doesn't go with the whole, like, it's anyone's game. It's like, no, you have to really try to have your game good. So it's a little ridiculous. But I do want to also notice the fact that survivors do have an advantage with generators, but I feel like that's because killers aren't, doing it right, you know what I mean? Like, I play killer a couple times, or not a couple, but, I play killer, and, like, if you do things like this, like, you shouldn't be rewarded at all. Like, this dude, I'm pretty sure didn't even pip. He didn't even keep his rank, I don't think. I think he lost it. So, yeah. And the trick with that, like you just saw, with face campers that are, the killers that are face campers, they, just wait for them to hit them, and then get them off the hook. That's just the easiest way. And I'm gonna take a hit for these people, but that's fine, because I get out anyway. Um, but besides that, I'll probably talk about Hollow Knight in another video. But have a good day. See you later.